Hey guys, this is Impact Hall of Famer Gail Kim, and you are watching the Countdown City WrestleCast.
What's up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC. With me this week is Mike.
What's up?
And Tommy.
Yo.
Reminder, you can follow our Twitter account at CCG_WrestleCast. Subscribe to the Countdown City Geeks YouTube channel. And you can always email us ccg.wrestlecast@gmail.com. This week, we are recapping WWE Super ShowDown and New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion. 6.9 Soccer Joel. I had a feeling he was going to do that. Anyway, it was a very interesting weekend of wrestling, I will say. What was nice about it was that these shows were happening, one was happening during the day for us, and the other was happening overnight, which we could watch during the day the next day.
Yeah. I avoided social media all Sunday morning so I wouldn't spoil anything for me. And I actually got on Instagram for like 1 minute, and I spoiled one thing for me. There was this minor, I was like, God! And I immediately got off Instagram for the rest of the day, and I was like, I didn't check it anymore after that. So.
Well, before we get started, I'll just have to gloat. While we were recording that night, Moxley defeated Juice Robinson, as I predicted, or for the finals of the...
I was amazingly shocked.
That's the Super Juniors.
that Moxley...
I woke up the next morning and there it was all over Twitter.
Yeah.
Moxley holding the U.S. championship, IWGP U.S. championship belt. So
yeah, I saw that. I was like, what? So I fired up my New Japan World and watched it like immediately. I was like, there is no way that actually happened.
Crazy.
I thought maybe he just stole the belt or something. But I was like, nope, there he is.
And there it is. Very interesting what they're doing with Moxley in New Japan. So
absolutely,
that's what we'll talk about. We'll start with Super ShowDown. I'm going to say this right off the bat. This crowd was great. It was a better show than I think a lot of people gave it credit for.
Yeah, I thought it was a really great crowd.
And I guess that's one thing that I did like of this show. What else did you guys like from the show?
No, I'll agree with you there. Like seeing people who were legit into it as opposed to rich people sitting on couches.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Very welcome change.
I mean, that part at least was better.
Especially during the it was more announced as a 50-man battle royal. It was really 51 men, and Mansoor winning. That crowd, you see people crying in the crowd. It was pretty awesome. That moment was special.
That's one of those things where it's like, okay, that's his home country. Yeah, I know some people will probably complain about it. I'm like, nah, that's fine. You know,
oddly enough, of all the things you could complain about for this show, and it's what I'll attach to it, that should be the last thing.
That was a great moment. Yeah,
it should be the last thing. But you know how people are.
You're gonna take that much. At least give something back. So
sadly, we didn't get to see Titus O'Neil run and slide under the ring again.
No, but they try to hide.
I felt gypped by that. By the way, only if for no other reason than they see if Corey Graves could keep it together this year as opposed to the year that happened.
But I also got to be honest. I don't know if I like a 50-man battle royal because it was just like the first 2-3 minutes where people like.
I feel like you needed the old WCW World War III 3-ring 60-man battle royal type thing to do it. But
that'd be better.
I mean, definitely you should title a pay-per-view in Jeddah.
Maybe not World War III. I'm just saying that concept of the match.
I mean, I don't know where Jeddah is because I've never heard any country associated with it.
No, me neither.
Well, they did. That's another thing. They did say Saudi Arabia throughout the show.
I didn't pay attention.
And I also enjoyed it because right at the beginning of the show, and my wife and I were watching this. It was her teacher work day, so I had this loaded on my phone while we're helping move her to a new classroom. They announced, okay, we're going to introduce our Saudi Arabian announcers for this. And Corey Graves tries to pronounce their names. And it gets, I guess, close enough, but the main guy, when they cut to the microphone, he's like, well, I thought Renee was going to screw it up, but it was Corey this time. And Renee's cracking up. And then he makes his introduction in that language. I was like, oh, that is perfect. Like, these guys were having fun.
I missed that. I go back and watch it. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Go back and watch the intro.
For full disclosure, I did not watch this entire thing. In fact, I wasn't going to watch it until my timeline on Twitter got filled with, like, the stuff that happened at the end. When you and I was like, okay, I got to go see it. So I did watch. I wound up watching the 50-man battle royal. I watched the ending of a few of the matches, and then I watched the main event because, wow.
that I guess we can talk about things we disliked.
Well, I will say one more thing was Dolph Ziggler, and
Dolphin,
sure.
Dolph
Two
and
different
Kofi.
people.
Yeah, completely. Dolph and Kofi delivered as I knew they would.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't worried that they would deliver. I just it was as awesome as I expected a Kofi Dolph match to be.
Balor Andrade was great.
That was
good
really
too.
That was
Triple
really
H and Orton.
good. Was better than I thought.
Well, we'd seen it so many times before. We think, what else are they going to do?
Yeah.
And they put on a show.
It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Sorry.
No, I was just going to step back for a second, though. As cool as it was to bring out even Balor and his entrance,
That was one of the best
really
things.
cool. Is it the best idea to bring out face paint in the 80 plus, 100 degree almost heat?
No, because it melted off.
No kidding.
It was gone. It was gone.
I forget where I saw this, but someone was joking on Twitter. Was like, should he stop being so demon-like as more of his face paint comes off? Like, should that be his weakness? As he starts looking more like
that
a regular
actually
Finn
wouldn't
Balor.
be a bad idea.
He's like, oh, I'm regular again.
We'll get back to the entrance. How cool is it? All those people in black.
Yeah,
and doing that was cool.
Yeah.
But then, the heat. They're showing us throughout the night. It's 101 heat index.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, we had a crazy heat wave this weekend in San Antonio. If I'm a little red, it's because I played in a softball tournament on Saturday. And it was great to play softball again, by the way. But anyway, I'm sitting there watching this, showing the heat index. I'm thinking, are they doing this in Texas? Because it's just as hot here, but it was nighttime over there,
Yeah.
Back to Taker and Goldberg, things we didn't like. Honestly, that match started off great.
Yeah,
Until Goldberg busted himself open trying to sell the turnbuckle thing.
Well, okay, so I watched the entrance starting when I saw Goldberg coming down the ramp. I didn't watch the part before that, and I read online that he did the thing where he slams his head on the doors. Did they show that?
I think he did that, and I honestly, so when we were driving to pick up the kids, and then I happened to look down after he came out, and I saw a red dot.
Right.
Did Goldberg bust himself open
And
already?
he's done that before.
He did that before.
But what I've read is they actually because he makes a little walk.
Yeah.
And then they don't actually show him going through the gorilla position until he comes out on stage. Supposedly they stalled and stopped him in gorilla and made the docs check him again like a quick test to make sure because I'm pretty sure he concussed himself right off the bat slamming his head on the door before he left his locker room or whatever.
I guess that explains why he missed his pyro, or else they just didn't want him to do his pyro because it was so heated.
Right.
Because he did the sparks, but then he walked on stage after the sparks went away.
The sparks thing, that could have been a combination of the heat too. So.
Yeah. Because that was fine, and then he did the corner spot.
But you're right. That's really when and then
everyone seems to pinpoint the tombstone, but I was like, he was gone before that.
When he went into the corner, man, and he hit he didn't ram his shoulder like most people you see do.
Or try and go through the ropes.
He did, but his head right into the thing. And after that, that was the start of it, and then it was just like it got worse and worse.
Yeah.
And they literally were almost killing each other. That's what really.
Yeah, the finish, it looked like an obvious audible finish. Yes, I think the planned finish was jackhammer into pin. And when the jackhammer basically turned into a brain buster, which Taker had to save himself. And I think Taker called an audible, was like, no, we're just going to
a New Japan brain buster, not like.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It was almost like Jake the Snake inventing the DDT by accident. To be honest with you.
Or like Triple H is one of his first pedigrees.
Yeah.
When he spiked that one dude.
No, I'm not knocking these guys. Taker was visibly upset, and I can understand why. I mean, he got into shape for it. He looked good.
Yeah.
Goldberg looked in decent shape. The crowd was into it. But I was worried about Goldberg because he was pretty concussed. And you can't really knock. I mean, Taker, they did what they could. Taker himself at WrestleMania 30 got concussed like halfway through his match with Lesnar. And Lesnar had to carry the rest of it. So I can get the whole everyone's going to shit on the match, but you go out there and wrestle with concussion. I couldn't do it, I mean, that stuff happens. So
Isn't that what also happened years ago, like at the Highway to Hell, Undertaker versus Stone Cold, that SummerSlam match? Didn't Austin get concussed and Taker have to basically? If I remember that correctly.
I think you're right.
I thought Highway to Hell was Taker versus Brett.
Or maybe it wasn't.
Or what am I
But that SummerSlam of Austin versus Taker, I think there's a similar story that goes.
No,
with
I think Highway to Hell was the following year. I think that was just another. But I think it was SummerSlam.
Oh yeah, it was Taker. It was Taker Austin. If we're wrong, just comment.
Yeah. I think Taker Austin was just SummerSlam. I think Highway to Hell was like the very next year.
No. The show wasn't called that, but I thought it was like that was like the theme of their match or something.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
It was SummerSlam. Yeah.
Well, there have been several matches where people get concussed and just work through it.
Right,
Some can, some can't.
Yeah, and then of course that was an era when nobody knew much about concussions. You didn't care. You went injured. You didn't put your hand up on a chair shot.
Yeah, I forget who tells the story of like if there's the TLC match from Raw. It was a fatal 4-way. It was Kane, Jericho, and Christian, Spike, and Bubba Ray, and Jeff Hardy, and I think it's Jeff Hardy and Robin. I think it's those two. Mm-hmm. And they say how Bubba Ray was actually knocked out most of the match.
Oh yeah,
Jericho had to talk him through it.
Right.
Yeah. They still covered it well.
Yeah. So it happens.
Yeah.
The only other thing I guess I could say I didn't like about this show was the Lars Sullivan bit. First of all, I don't get Lars Sullivan. I'm sorry.
I just don't like his character. That's just
the character doesn't make sense. He just comes out as a stereotypical big guy, and then based on posts we've seen, he's part of the Aryan Brotherhood. We can surmise that. His music is like supposed to be like this horror movie character that's more fitting of Bray Wyatt than Lars Sullivan, just on the look. To be honest with you.
But in all fairness, this apparently comes from the new WWE Music, who thinks that the record scratch starts the music and doesn't, for Dolph Ziggler. I've never understood that. They do the record scratch and then they play music, as opposed to the general idea of like the record scratch stops
exactly
in that moment.
I didn't get it either.
I also didn't get
the finish of the match.
Yeah, thank you. The disqualification right as they jumped in. It's like tag teams have always done that.
There was something online about they changed it.
That's what Tina told me earlier today, is that they plan to do we all expected it to be just a squash. Sullivan's going to come out there, squash 3 guys in lucha masks. Yeah, right. And he went out there to squash that, and then they changed it last minute. Apparently Vince wanted them to do the DQ finish. And then on Monday night, they do an elimination squash. So it made no sense.
Yeah, so some people think that they didn't want this to be like his win for it be on the Super Show, so they don't have to keep referencing it because they know it's kind of a controversial show in general.
Yeah.
Although Shane McMahon gets to carry that cup around all the time, so who knows?
That and my other thought too was because the women's match that they thought they had approval for ended up getting canceled last minute by the Saudi government. They decided to give these guys more time just to cover that time. That
I guess so too.
That might be another theory. We'll talk more about that actually after we give our WrestleCast rating. I have that as a discussion item here. So as far as match of the night, let me pull it up here on our Twitter account. Got a good number of votes here on this one too.
The ring. Oh, that was the ring apron versus Goldberg and Undertaker's necks.
That's good.
53% Triple H and Randy Orton.
Yeah, that's probably
about right. Second place was Finn Balor and Andrade at 22%, and Seth Rollins and Baron Corbin 16%. Started the show very surprising to me.
Brock Lesnar.
Lesnar, yeah, and how about that? Okay, Lesnar didn't cash in.
So who was? I know on last show, like you made that second part of the guess. So did we actually get credit either way?
I just had that on there as a thing. But Tina was the only one to say he wasn't going to cash in. And let's be honest, I think he was intent on cashing in until that little thing happened.
I mean, my idea was he wasn't going to be successful, and it was halfway true because he was prevented from doing it successfully. Yeah. Tina, I think, felt more like the way and I watched last week was that he was going to mock him again, but just not do it. But like you said, he got prevented, so we were both kind of like half right.
Yeah. So honestly, here's what I think is going to happen. I think, and I hate to say it's going to happen this way, one of two things can go either way. I think he's going to try and cash in at some like SummerSlam or Survivor Series pay-per-view where he's going to make it a triple threat. Or he's going to wait until next WrestleMania when Rollins is champion and do to Rollins what Rollins did to him at WrestleMania 30.
Look at it's long-term booking.
Yes,
storytelling. Exactly. Look, we did the same thing, but we switched it. Look how clever we are.
And again, Lesnar's going to probably win the PWI award for most hated wrestler. Anyway,
that's good-ish, Tommy.
Pop of the night. I think Mansoor is the overall winner here.
Yeah.
I think there's no doubt about it.
Okay, finally. Okay, now we can talk about something I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Most heat.
The building.
The building.
Touche.
Nailed it. Ding.
I'm sorry. I was actually kind of waiting to do that.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It was pretty damn hot out there. I mean, yeah, that's it, pretty much. As far as like least reaction, it's another knock on Lars Sullivan. For a crowd that was into the whole show, they were dead quiet during the Lars Sullivan Lucha House Party match.
I think, okay, so, and I hate to say this, there's nothing against Lars
sick
Sullivan.
of him.
But it's like, we already have the giant monster guy, Braun
I know.
Strowman.
Exactly.
I mean, and I'm not saying you can't have two, but kind of, Braun's more interesting.
Who said that a couple weeks ago? I think it was Tina, right? Like,
I think
you already have Braun Strowman.
That was
Tina did say
but,
it.
but not like that. Like, and Braun can cut decent promos.
Yes.
Like his promo work has gotten way better. It's like when he cuts a promo, it actually is kind of interesting. Now that being said, if Lars Sullivan cuts a math promo, I'm in. But
Man, let's face it. I mean, you mentioned the math promo. We talked about the trios thing with Steiner, Petey Williams, and Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace over there studying Steiner's promos, like trying to get her math stuff.
If you're a racist, 33% of the time.
Anyway, on to the pick results. We actually all went 5-4. Despite
amazing.
some differences in
That's
picks, it all
amazing.
balanced out. First time that's happened.
that is, I was looking at it, I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
we're like dead even on this one.
Now, WrestleCast ratings 0 to 5, 5 being WrestleMania 17, 0 being December to December. Now, they promoted this show, under contract anyway, as good as or better than WrestleMania. So, we're going to play a little game here. I'm going to get everyone's rating. We're going to do that, and we'll see how y'all's ratings compare to what you guys rated WrestleMania 17.
Oh, I already know how it's going to go.
Yeah.
But
I already know what I rated.
We'll start with Tina, who gave a rating of 4.25. The knock she had on the show obviously was the Lars Sullivan thing, the main event. But she enjoyed the show. She really did. But she's very disappointed the women's match did not happen. That had been rumored for so much, especially when social media hit, that they got over there. So, Tommy, what are you rating it here? Are you trying to think back what your WrestleMania rating was?
No, I'm just trying to think about because I'm torn between a 3.75 and a 4.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and be fair and give it a 4. I think why I want to give 3.75 just because of things I just like did not like about some of the show. The women's match getting cut was one thing. Just like some other, and Brock Lesnar, Lars Sullivan. It says nothing. Lars Sullivan is Brock Lesnar light. That's all he is. That's nothing why I don't like him. I'll just over some stuff. But for the show they put on, the people who worked hard, Triple H and Orton, to be able to pull off a fun match after all these years, that was pretty cool. So I'll give it a 4.
Okay, Mike?
I'm going to give it a 3.
That's
3.
fair. That's fair. I mean,
Okay.
And I don't mean to be disrespectful to the workers and the fans who really enjoyed it, but I still just have problems with the whole overall point of the show. I got super annoyed even before watching the show with better than or equal, greater than, less than, equal to, or whatever to WrestleMania.
I like how you're using math terms there,
Yeah,
too.
no.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That just and
hashtag math.
and the fact that we were like, oh man, we almost got a women's match on there. Like that's I'm sorry.
We'll get to that. Yeah.
That's So yeah. So it's not personal against the wrestlers. I know they worked hard. They go and they do their job, but yeah, 3.
I'm giving it a 4. It was for a lot of the same reasons. Lars Sullivan match just didn't seem to fit. I think it was a big missed opportunity, and it's not WWE's fault. They had approval from the Saudi government originally to do Natalya versus Alexa Bliss as a surprise match, and that's why they flew them out there. They wouldn't have made the trip if they didn't have that initially, but when they landed and the show's about to start, they canceled it. The government canceled it. Crown Prince wants the match. He wants women wrestling. He's progressive. Jeddah, was it? I don't know if it was you that said.
Yeah, I was reading some stuff that Jeddah tends to be considered a more progressive city in that area. I think maybe kind of like a Vegas type place. While what's the one you said they were in the first time?
Riyadh. Well, they were in Jeddah for the Greatest Royal Rumble last year. They were in Riyadh in November, and they're back in Jeddah for this.
Okay.
So yeah,
I guess Riyadh or whatever. But
yeah,
that's what I had read about it.
All right, so that actually brings our overall WrestleCast rating to 3.8125.
Bringing down the curve.
Yeah. So how does that compare to everyone's WrestleCast or ratings for WrestleMania?
I don't mind. Was way higher.
Tina had a 4.5 for WrestleMania, 4.25 for this show.
Not better than or equal to.
I had a 4 for WrestleMania and a 4 for this show.
Equal
Equal to. Mike had a 4.5 for WrestleMania,
Not
3
better
for this
than or
one.
equul to.
Tommy had 4.75 for WrestleMania,
Not
and 4
better
for this
than or
one.
equal
Now,
to.
why was mine equal? WrestleMania was long. very, very long.
Imagine WrestleMania in the Jeddah heat.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I say that in a Muslim country, right? I think is like I didn't like WrestleMania as much, and I gave it a lot of points for being too long. Yeah. A lot of matches that just didn't need to be in there. Some made sense. We talked about the Joe Mysterio squash before. This one was just a product of just a couple of bad matches and then a missed opportunity. I did, like I said, give points off because there was no women on this card. So something I talk about women in warning. If you're not gonna have women, you need to have Evolution.
Yep.
Now,
you mean the pay-per-view, not the
Evolution is mystery. All the change of no one's age.
I always thought they were
funny.
pretty
He sounds just like that too. Yeah.
I never understood the mystery. I already got it.
The trick to see like Libby is to like basically sing from your throat and never move your mouth, just like kind of have it hang over. The Ace of Spades, the Ace of Spades.
Nailed it. So some of the fallout from it, we got a steel cage match set up between Ziggler and Kofi. They're running this thing out because I've hearing rumors that they're planning a triple threat at Extreme Rules between Kofi, Ziggler, and Kevin Owens.
Is Extreme Rules at a different time this year than it was last year?
Yeah, it's because Stomping Grounds is next. Extreme Rules is in July. So that's the next pay-per-view. So Stomping Grounds are going to get cage match.
Okay, so real quick, is Stomping Grounds really? We're that low on names?
I mean, isn't Stomping Grounds like a slang for like where you grew up?
Yeah, that's what it's like. That's.
I'm not gonna lie. I think West Side Story. So if they sit there and come out, and start going.
Dude, there was a paper. What was it? A Royal Rumble where they?
Yeah, there was a Royal Rumble where they did that. Do you remember that promo? It was Royal Rumble where
they should have done like the
because Rey Mysterio was wearing his mask but had a wig on.
Was that the one where they shot it at Orlando and the TNA wrestlers came in and there's video?
No, that wasn't that one. But there was. Oh no! Wait, I think you're right.
I think it was.
I think you're right.
That was
I think
34.
No, it was
because I think Mysterio had the wig over his mask. Or something,
he did.
Right?
Yeah, because 3 Live Crew, Abyss, and Tracy Brooks brought balloons and cookies to the
and like Mysterio and one or two other people went outside.
to the sound studio where they were because they were joking with Ray and they blurred out his face. They were joking. You could see the freaking 619 tattoo on his arm. You could tell it was Ray the whole time.
Sorry, that's what it made me think of.
No, dude, I gotta watch that video again because that video was hilarious.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting note: when they were showing the promo for Stomping Grounds during Super Showdown, the two biggest pops, and honestly, these were the pops of the night for people that were not there, were when they showed the promo card for Bayley versus Alexa. The crowd was cheered.
Wasn't because of Alexa, though.
No, well,
I'm just kidding.
It's because of
I
Bayley.
was cheering.
Exactly.
But then they showed the card for Becky versus Lacey Evans, and that
definitely wasn't for Lacey.
Yeah, for sure.
But that was my point is
I know what your point is.
Yeah.
They want women's wrestling there. They want to see it. I think Tina actually told me there's a report that Sasha and Alexa move a lot of merchandise in that part of the world because they had the match in Abu Dhabi. The first one match in that area. So there's an appetite for it, and they want to see this. They're progressive. They're all about equality. The Crown Prince is for it. It needs to happen.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm not blaming WWE for women's match not being on that card. I know they want one to happen. Maybe November. I don't know because it's probably back in Riyadh again.
Well, look at the number of little girls that were in the audience for one.
It was a lot.
There was some little girls who were loving it. Like they kept focusing on a couple of them during when Kofi Kingston was coming out. I mean, it's not like I don't get, but I get. There reasons why they not having everything, but it's not like. It's like there's not a market for it, that's what I always think. Like when people say, females don't like this or that, it's like because people think there's no market for it because women don't like it. That's not true. That's like when the myth that women don't like combo or combo characters. This is very untrue. They just don't like to be stereotyped in combo characters. Like they have some like Wonder Woman and Storm. Those are badasses. They can relate to those. Same with wrestling. They have women who are badasses. They can relate to them. Becky Lynch, Bayley, Alexa Bliss is okay, I guess, but okay. You have your reasons for it and everything. It takes a lot to change the system that's been in place for like centuries to nearly 1,000 years, but still, from an entertainment standpoint, first of all, it's not like they don't know it exists at all because clearly they watch it. Because if these people who everyone says that they're still, they still watch old wrestling, which is why Goldberg and Taker were there still.
They have an appreciation for it. I think.
Yeah. But and that's cool. I do too. But also they have to watch current, because you cannot do Finn Balor's entrance and not watch current wrestling. There's just no way. It's impossible. So, I mean, so the system has changed, and I get people who have their critique, like Mike, of their going over there, but at the same time, changes have been built on like sports related things have changed a lot of human history. My favorite example, honestly, is Jesse Owens. He ran one race in the Olympics, and I'm a firm believer that because he did that, a lot of views for African Americans changed. WWE could be doing this now. Am I convinced that's the reason Vince is doing this? No, not really. But
let's be honest about that.
Yeah. But could that be the good result that comes from his love of money? Yes, it could be. Yeah, but
I mean, let's face it. If it moves equality in that region, we may think differently about this deal with Saudi Arabia, the WWE.
It could.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's funny you mentioned Jesse Owens. I think he ran during the Munich Olympics. And at a time when Nazi Germany was in control,
they were.
Hitler almost didn't let him run because he was racist.
Yeah.
So
what? Hitler was racist
against not just Jewish but black people. Yeah. So
another thing I want to mention.
What? He didn't like black people? Oh, sorry.
Before we move on, since we're talking about a lot of the negatives about it, shout out to a couple different people and groups. The Cultaholic, who do a podcast themselves on their website, and they're out of England. They did a live reaction stream, and they took donations, and all of that went to Amnesty International.
Oh, nice.
That's kind of the way they dealt with that. And then Sami Zayn, who didn't go and then decided to start another, trying to get like an ambulance and emergency supplies for Syria, I believe. Right, he started another one to get a mobile hospital out there. And then on top of that, also Ali, who said he was going to donate his winnings or his paycheck from the show to charity. So, shout out to those people making good out of, the controversial situation.
Yeah. Shout out to a couple people who responded to our Twitter poll. Here's my thing. Okay, one guy who's probably British, he was like, great, because I said on the Twitter for the poll, I said, great crowd in Jeddah for Super Showdown. This was like, great crowd. Are you taking the piss? I almost had to say it with a British accent. I was like, really, dude? Another guy was like, huh? And he put a picture of the arena.
I thought in English that means drunk.
I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not British.
Don't you remember pissing the night?
And then another guy put this picture up, and I'll post it, how the crowd didn't look very full. Well, for a very not full crowd, they were pretty damn loud. You can say, well, they had microphones back there, but there was a lot of people reacting.
What do you think this was, an ROH show?
Okay, give me a break.
No, you're right, because that last show, that showing was pretty sad.
Yeah, so you can knock on the crowd all you want, maybe, but okay, how are you at wrestling shows? We'll get to fan and wrestler interactions later, but I think we're a bit jaded sometimes. We're mad about this, we're mad about that. These fans don't get to see wrestling as often as we do.
Yeah.
WWE comes through San Antonio maybe 3-4 times a year. NXT at least once. We get Ring of Honor maybe once or twice a year. Impact is coming through town. We're lucky to get that. Countries like this, where they haven't had any of this entertainment for decades.
Yeah.
And we're making a big deal because they've gotten 3 shows in the last 2 years. And they appreciate that. They were louder than most crowds here in the United States.
For sure.
They're pretty dead that are supposedly sold out,
Yeah.
We said it before. The people that were around there were not the elites. There were no couches around there. There were a lot of kids in the crowd. They were emotional when Mansoor won the Battle Royal. They were into the show, and I'm very happy for them.
Yeah, and in all fairness, I don't think they've been there 3 times in the contract. The knock is not on the people there by any means.
No,
right?
No, they're not
the people are subject to what their leaders are doing.
Yeah.
I think our thing has always been, this is just them making a deal with the government that, controversial, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're just getting a crap load of money out of it, and and like you said, we were talking about this too before. Because, I have really negative views about this thing in general, but when you're telling me about the crowd and I started watching part of the video, it was cool. Like when Mansoor won and jumped in the crowd, and those people were like so elated.
Yeah.
And I guess his brother or someone was right there and he was hugging him.
So that part of it,
like y'all said earlier, if we can get at least that out of it, if you can at least get that, then that will be worth it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I definitely agree for those people to get that and to have
dreams of their
enjoy.
own that they can be something.
Right.
I mean, little girl, they showed on Raw, highlighting from that show, little girl wearing a John Cena T-shirt, talking about how much fun she had, how happy she was to get to see it. So, don't be spoiled by this, because let's be honest here. If years down the road AEW is successful and they start recycling storylines, are you going to shit on it the same way just because, be honest here.
There'll be some new hip in.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. I've never been like, okay, so that's one place where I draw the line, because, okay, so everyone has, and one of the wrestling group I'm part of, Trailcore Wrestling fans, everyone's talking about how Kylie Ray kind of rips off of Bayley's shtick, her gimmick. And I was like, that's everybody. Everybody in wrestling.
How many happy baby faces out there on the independent?
How many Nature Boys have there been?
And how many
in the history?
and believe it or not, people, Hulk Hogan is not an original. If anything, he stole that from superstar Billy Graham.
And a little what's his name? The other guy who was in he was a Marine. He was the mayor. He does conspiracy. There you go. A little bit of that too.
Yeah.
Who also probably ripped
and also
Ravishing Rick Rude, Val Venus, kind of similarities.
So yeah, I mean, so do I have to run down the list? Shawn Michaels didn't invent the super kick. Randy Orton didn't invent the RKO. Diamond Dallas Page didn't even invent the RKO. And that kind of, I don't mind recycling and stuff like that. And with the crowd thing, a large crowd doesn't always equal success.
No.
A passionate crowd does. ECW had maybe 200 people in the ECW arena, but was so passionate with the fans, it actually changed the face of pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was going to say, though, I think it depends on what you mean by success, too, because they didn't make enough money, they went out of business. But you're right. They have left a indelible
everyone
mark
remembers
on
them.
wrestling to this day.
And also, and in all honesty, I'm still of the opinion ECW just got screwed out of their chance of making it big
Might
time.
have been true.
Yeah, but not just that. I mean, okay. So we mentioned Ring of Honor having their last TV taping had a small crowd. Okay, so that just means they got to re-up and reapproach the things. Like I said, it's not the first time they've had to do that. So you might have a bad fiscal quarter.
Yeah,
it happens. WWE has been having bad fiscal quarters for the past year or so, but no one's saying they're going out of business, and they're not. And that's also to the fans.
Independent shows locally have had small crowds and big crowds. I can remember when ACW was up and coming, they had shows every 2 weeks in San Antonio. It seemed like, and some crowds were hit or miss.
Yeah,
let's be honest with you, but
those were some of the best shows.
They had some great shows, great venue.
I work with BOW. We have large crowds, we have small crowds. Sometimes just a matter of who's in town and who's not.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes people are just not available to make some shows.
I can remember hearing an interview where I think it was Jericho was interviewing Cody and talking about the All In show, and Jericho was talking about it with Vince, and he told him they booked it for September, and Vince thought September's like the worst month to book a show. He should have called me. I could have helped him with that. They ended up selling that show out in 30 minutes. It was a great show. So
bet he doesn't want to help him now.
It was an independent thing. So
not according to Vince Russo.
Yes, that man knows all.
Yes.
First of all, it's funny to me that theory he had where he's creating his own competition. I used to say that about Impact, like a conspiracy theory. Like, what if Vince is creating his own competition with TNA?
Although I thought he sent Hogan over there to destroy it.
Up. Mm-hmm. Everyone has that thought,
Yeah.
And Bischoff and everything. So.
Yeah.
All right, so on from the Middle East, we'll go to the Far East. New Japan Pro Wrestling
What a
Dominion.
segue.
Thank you very much.
I do like
in
that.
Osaka Joe Hall.
Let's go, Osaka Joe Hall.
Yes. Our
keep
resident,
going east, we'll go west.
Yes. So this show, when we previewed it, we only had 3 matches announced. The finals of the Best of the Super Junior tournament were happening that night after we recorded. As I mentioned, Moxley won the U.S. title.
And that final match between Shingo and Ospreay, holy crap.
Yeah, I was going to get your thoughts on that. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
If you guys haven't seen that match, go see it. But I've watched it. I want to watch it again pretty soon. I couldn't yet because I had to catch up with Dominion. But, dude, they tore the house down. Like, that's when it's really the best of Super Juniors. And Ospreay for a Gaijin is over AF in Japan. He announced, I don't know if you saw, he announced afterwards he's moving to Japan.
Yes, I did see that.
He announced he's moving to Japan.
That is interesting to me.
Yeah, but dude, the Japanese crowd lost their collective minds Jushin Thunder Liger lost his ever loving shit when he said that.
He's the new Kenny Omega for that group. I mean, and Omega lived there, learned Japanese.
Yeah.
You think Ospreay is going to do that too?
I think so. Well, you know, his girlfriend B. Presley is the Wonder World of Stardom champion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she's there too. So they'll probably both be there.
Because I was going to wonder if he was going to fall in love with the Bushi too, but
I mean, just because he has a girlfriend, what you think that will stop him?
Touche. It is
whatever they're into.
It's Ibushi. I mean,
it is Ibushi.
So, anyway, after that show, the Best of Super Juniors final, they finally announced the rest of the matches for Dominion, and I got to give you a funny moment because we have a group text among all of us here. So Tommy says, "Well, here's my picks for Dominion." He picks Moxley. He picks Shingo Takagi. He picks Suzuki and Sabre Jr. Then he picked Bullet Club, Tomohiro Ishii, which he had already said on the show. He picked God. And then where else did he go? He went with Dragon Lee over Ospreay. And we talked, of course, he had already picked Ibushi and Okada. And wouldn't you know it? Mike and Tina had the exact
it was
same
amazing.
picks. How do you guys do that? How do you guys do that?
Look, I mean, obviously, what's that?
We turn around his microphone.
Y'all got some ESPN or something up in there.
They picked the same match as me, Lou Jade.
Now, I had most of the same picks, except that I did pick Taguchi Japan over Bullet Club, which I got right.
And I was actually shocked that he got that right.
I mean, I saw Tanahashi and Juice Robinson on that team. I was like, these guys are coming for blood. They want something.
I could have sworn, though, that Juice was going to have a losing streak. And I was like,
as I had picked, what else did I pick? Oh, I did pick Ospreay. Got that right.
Yeah, he did get that right.
I was very,
and actually,
after that promo where he says, I'm moving to Japan. Yeah, okay. Belt's going on Ospreay.
Yeah, if I would have known that, I would have changed that.
I was still sticking. I thought that too, but I was going to stick to my guns just in case. Because I thought they might, I don't know, give him the never openweight belt again or something. I don't know.
And then, of course, that I announced on the show, I did pick Taichi to retain the never openweight championship and did get that wrong.
Yeah.
But, dude, I love the guy's gimmick coming out singing his own theme song for a little bit.
With the mic that's not connected?
Yeah, I know, but it's funny.
It is.
It's funny. You know?
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Well, just real quick, in that match, him and Ishii, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to see this whole show. I saw highlights and read stuff that happened. But I was watching highlights, and he starts the match in tights. And then by the end of the match, he's shrunk. What did I miss?
At one point in the match, his showboat, he has tearaway pants.
Yeah.
It's great.
Okay, so
all right, that makes more sense.
So for a little trivia, he just started doing that with like the last year or two, maybe, if even that far back.
Yeah.
And everyone is like, "Why are your pants coming?"
Because
like literally, the commentators are like, "Why are his pants coming off?" I no longer feel comfortable.
The commentators: Don Callis, Kevin Kelly,
and I can't remember the last guy's name.
It's a British guy, right?
Yeah, because he speaks Japanese. He translates.
Because I was watching.
That's funny.
It's
like you're gonna do some translating for him, so they're translating this, and then I think there was one point where was it Jericho or somebody started yelling? They started cussing at him, and he's like, "Mother," whatever. And he's like, "Well, I don't have to translate that."
I think Tagaloa did it too, and they were like, "Well,
it was Tagaloa. Yeah, Tagaloa. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, well, thanks for clarifying that because I was watching it. I was like, wait, he's in trunks. What?
Yeah.
I love his gimmick. I love his showboating. I really love the story in that match where because they had been promoting how like basically Taichi's won everything with a low blow, pushing the ref and hitting the low blow, and they really played with that a little bit during the match.
So I have a friend who doesn't really watch wrestling, and he especially doesn't watch anything in Japan. But I was telling him about this gimmick, about Taichi's entrance. He was like, "He does what?" Because my friend's a musician. He plays piano and everything. And he sings and everything. He's like, "He does what?" So I showed it to him. He's like, "Is this mic not connected?" No, it's not connected. And he said, "The song is horrible." Yes, it's terrible.
That's the point. That's the point.
Oh man, Taichi. But that's why I love the fact that he got his head driven into the mat because that just made my day.
Yeah. So some notes from the show. I guess things I liked. Moxley opened the show, came out through the crowd.
So great.
Carried off Shota Umino afterwards.
But actually, before you get to that part, because that was hilarious, but is it Shiata Umino?
Shota Umino.
Okay. Him starting the match by just going right over the top.
That was great.
That
was great.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he him like fighting despite like Moxley just kicking his ass most of the time.
It was kind of Moxley kind of did the same thing to Juice, and I think he was trying to get that jump on Moxley as well. Almost kind of get that spotted too. So Moxley got that jump on Juice as well.
But yeah, all right. Now let's get to the good part.
Okay, let's get to the good part. So Takagi, we all got right.
No, I mean of this match afterwards.
That match. Yeah, afterward where he's carrying Umino off. I thought Amina was dead. He's sitting there carrying him like he's wearing him like a leopard print. He's just like, great way to sell that. I thought at one point Moxley was like, hold on, I got to do this, and just throw him on the ground and pick him back up. That'd have been funny, you know.
I told them afterwards in the backstage interview. Afterwards, okay, first of all, Shota Umino is destined for greatness. I'm convinced now because he sold being unconscious like a champion.
He did
because
even though the press conference, right?
Yeah, because like he was backstage and he had his eyes rolled the back of his head the whole time. And at some point, one of the reporters asked Moxley something, and he let Umino go while he was making Umino hold his belt. And he let him go, so Umino passed out on the floor. And he answered the question well back. He said, "What are you doing on the ground again? Get up, man! Come on!" I was like, and I immediately said, they are going to push this guy to the moon. This guy's going to get the Okada push when they repackage him.
You still got that whole Moxley just has that attitude. It's just funny. He's having fun. He's having fun. You can.
I think that's the key thing. He's just enjoying himself right now. I don't think he could care less what happens next.
He knows how to show up the crowd. Knows how to do that stuff. Yeah. So. Some other notes here after the match. Moxley, we'll talk about throughout the night. Moxley, Takagi, Kenta made a surprise return.
Dude, goosebumps.
Well, it's not really a return, right?
No, actually,
New Japan.
Actually, no, you're right. It's a debut
because he was a Noah guy,
return
right?
to Japan.
Yeah, no, but only because I was reading some stuff about the show and watch highlights, but they were just mentioning how
Katsuyori
in
Shibata
Japan there's a lot there seems to be a lot more loyalty to the group you were a part of, except for some of the bigger ones over time that had switched. And so they felt like this was a big one because he became famous in Noah.
Yeah.
And then finally showed up in New Japan.
So the reason, that's one reason why it's such a big deal. Another, I think one reason he might have switched is because, well, for one, Shibata is his friend. Like they're legitimately good friends outside of the ring.
And that was a surprise himself for him being there too.
Yeah, that was because he runs the LA dojo.
Okay.
Yeah, he runs the LA New Japan dojo. So that's probably one reason. Another was Noah has switched owners since he left, so it may not be the same people running it anymore. So
I think you had mentioned that before. A lot of guys are coming over.
Yeah, like where he could have had a job for sure when he went back, the same people might not be as high on him anymore. But Shibata has a lot of pull, and if Shibata says you should hire this guy, you have about a 90% chance you're going to get hired.
Even then, he got pops like a returning hero because come back to Japan, that sort of thing. Yeah. So he returned, and Chris Jericho. I mentioned Moxley, Takagi, Kenta, and Jericho all declared that they want to be in the G1 Climax tournament that this guy's going to be the opening of in Dallas. Lucky you.
Takagi just... But the funny part was Takagi said, I lost the best Super Juniors. Screw this crap. I'm a heavyweight now.
Some more follow from it, too. Yoshihashi wants a title shot at Zack Sabre Jr. for the Revolution Pro title.
That's happening. It's going to be at Kazina Road, which is going to take place this month before they get
G1 Climax. Yeah, cool. Any thoughts initially on who you might think was going to win it?
I want to actually say Yoshihashi because
it was a hell of an upset. A lot of people talked about that.
Because and I'm one of them because I was like, whoa, that's surprising, and that's why I'm thinking because Yoshihashi has been through a lot the past couple of years. Like every time he's about to take off, like he gets another injury, which sucks. So I'm hoping this will be his chance to really blast off.
And another thing I liked is after Ospreay won the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, he went straight to the English commentators and said, my first challenge is going to be to Robbie Eagles, and I want that match in Melbourne.
Yeah,
and Eagles is home country, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So, it's going to be
later this month, right?
Yeah, it's just going to be these two guys jumping off the top rope repeatedly until they crash into each other into the crowd, which I'm here for. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for that.
It's going to be like the action in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's going to be fighting in midair.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay, but we can't talk about the Dragon Lee Ospreay match without talking about that insane tope that he hit on Ospreay. Because did you see this clip?
So much
clip of it? Okay, so when he did that, so they crashed into, of course, the character commentators, and they knocked down Milano Collection AT. And I think Doug Ellis says, "Why does everyone hit Milano? What did he do to them? Why does everybody hit Milano?"
I remember that guy from one of those first years we went to ACW.
Yeah, he was
several times.
Yeah, he's real good. It's like, why does everyone hit Milano? He's such a nice guy.
As far as our match of the night poll, 67% Dragon Lee and Will Ospreay. I mean, it was tough to top that.
Yeah,
one.
it
There
was
were a lot of good matches though. So.
Yeah, it was really hard. Like JC asked me what my top 4 picks for match of the night were, and I was like,
Didn't ask me.
Well, then after Tommy said, Mike was like, "Me too." Tina, same. I love that you guys are keeping that going. It's pretty funny.
But
so.
and let's see, even when I named those 4, it took me a minute to figure out which one of the 4 I liked the most. I was like, damn, I don't know.
I mean, I didn't get to see it when you gave me those nominees, but I went back and watched it finally, and I was like, yeah, those are the 4 that stand out for me.
Yeah,
easily.
I think for one, he's now a 5-time never openweight champion, which is great for him.
They need to fix that belt.
Yeah.
The side panels are falling off.
It had the same treatment that Naito gave the Intercontinental belt when he like legitimately was like doing everything he could to break the damn thing. Dude, did you never see that? Like when he was his first reign as Intercontinental champion, he would take the belt and literally throw it on the ring steps. He would toss it in the air and just leave it somewhere, and it looked like a dirty piece of leather by the time he was finally through with it. It was just like, jeez, man, you don't want the damn thing, just get rid of it.
You mentioned Naito. I think it's safe to say he had the most heat tonight.
That heat was pretty nuclear, actually.
Yeah, in Japan of all places too. Even some of the people that were wearing his shirts, LIJ shirts were booing him. Pop of the night, that was tough. What did you guys think? Oh, you
know what? I think Kenta.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Kenta, maybe Will Ospreay winning, which amazingly is a Gaijin winning a championship.
Not for long. He's a Japanese guy now.
That's true. That's true. But yeah,
those are definitely that.
Yeah,
same. Speaking of same pick results, what do you know? Mike, Tommy, and Tina all went 5-4.
Dude,
and then boom, 6-3. What's up?
I can't believe he got 6-3 on a New Japan pick.
That beat Tommy. I'm going to retire from picking New Japan from now on at this point. I beat Tommy one time. I'm just kidding.
That's okay. The fact that I'll be sitting live at G1 in Dallas will see.
That's fine. I'm just going to log into your New Japan account to watch it while you're there live. Give me the password again. Okay,
I got you.
As far as our WrestleCast ratings, Tina unfortunately didn't get to watch it this weekend. It was a very busy weekend. She didn't get to see it, so she wasn't able to give a rating now. Maybe she will later on. So, Tommy, what is your rating for this one?
I'm gonna go 4.75.
4.75.
Yeah. Always with New Japan and I kind of expect this. The non-title tag team matches are always kind of lackluster, but that's kind of on purpose. I think they do that just to get. It's like to me, it's almost like a showcase for the guys. And the ending was what it was meant to be. It was meant to piss the fans off, like how Jericho assaulted Okada afterwards, and there was no after-match speech from the champion. I think that it was meant to piss the fans off, and I was one of them, and the New Japan crowd was also upset. So I like that aspect, and it made me mad. Legitimately.
And it set up Tanahashi with Tanahashi making the save. So finally gonna get Tanahashi and Jericho.
Tanahashi and Jericho, which I'm super excited for. So
yeah. Mike?
If it happens in Dallas, you're really going to hate me forever.
No, that's fine. I mean, you got lucky with tickets. You better love Lance Hoyt forever because he helped you out.
He's okay.
Long time. 4.7. 4.7.
4.7.
Yeah, how you like them apples? Applesauce.
Oh my
god. Of course.
Oh
yeah.
My god.
I mean, yeah,
For once, you're not copying Tommy.
Yeah.
If Tina was here, she'd be like,
"Hey, for once."
Just kidding. I'm kidding.
I have never, in the last 3 minutes,
I got that. You got that ESPN.
Not copying you, Lil Jane.
Not copying you, Lil Jane.
Oh, inside jokes. I love them. Hope to be a part of them one day.
I'm going 4.5 on this. I mean, there's some things. I mean, you said the tag matches aren't as good, but some of those I was kind of expecting a little bit more from.
That's fair. That's fair.
I was really kind of almost expecting Juice to come out and interrupt the Moxley match, but with everything going on, I hope they build that up as a big rivalry.
Yeah.
What I did like from that whole weekend though is he's finally done with the CJ Parker gimmick. He's completely done cutting his dreads off and everything like that.
That was actually legitimately shocking for the entire Japanese crowd. Like when he took his hat off and it showed his dreads were gone, like you could hear an audible gasp from like the entire arena. I watched the English commentary. I need to go back and watch the Japanese commentary because I want to hear if Milano lost his mind on that crap too.
I wouldn't doubt it. That seemed to be like such a big deal, but I like the new look. Hopefully that means like a change in attitude. He wasn't Mr. Flamboyant, fabulous Juice Robinson anymore.
Yeah.
He was much more serious, which I think is going to serve him well. So,
yeah, see, New Japan booking hasn't really let me down yet, so I'll trust it.
Overall rating 4.65.
Nice.
Obviously, the better show of the weekend, I would say.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
but again, how come there's not a lot of women matches in New Japan? What is the deal with that? Maybe you can explain.
New Japan historically has never really had women's matches. Actually, a lot of Japanese promotions, a lot of the main promotions don't really. And that's just historic. Usually, though, that's why they have like Stardom, Ice Ribbon. What are the other ones? Oz Academy. They that's why those promotions are so popular. Stardom has their own service. Has their own like
nice
New Japan World. So because I want to look into getting that this year. Stardom has their own service, and actually, because that's where Io Shirai and Kairi Sane came from.
Which, by the way, they are going to be going back to Japan with WWE.
Yeah.
The end of this month. Triple H is actually going this time.
Did you see his video?
Did you see his promo for
back
that?
on the throne?
He sat back on the throne that Cody's supposed to destroy.
Yeah.
One match Tina told me that they have announced for that show is the Iconics against Kairi Sane and Asuka.
Okay.
In Japan.
The Kabuki Warrior experience?
Kabuki Warrior.
Oh, that totally reminded me. That reminded me. Last week, y'all were also talking about NXT TakeOver,
yes,
and the possibility of Prince Pretty and Dream becoming a team.
Yes,
yeah.
That's the Gorgeous Dream experience. Okay,
sorry,
I heard those names.
We forget experience. My bad.
Hello.
Sorry, we failed on that one.
Yes.
Yeah, come on, guys.
My bad.
We have failed this city.
Now, just from New Japan alone, we had 4 title changes over the last week.
Yeah.
Tetsuya Naito taking the IC title, Jon Moxley U.S. title, Tomohiro Ishii getting the openweight title for the 5th time,
Yeah.
and Will Ospreay winning the junior heavyweight championship.
Never open
weight. What do you think the impact is of these title changes? Obviously, the first one, Kota Ibushi, we think he's primed to make a run at the heavyweight championship. Probably be facing Okada at Wrestle Kingdom. I think they're going to work towards that.
If not, okay. So one more thing with that. So I don't know if you noticed in the God versus LIJ tag team title match, after LIJ lost, Sonata left by himself, and Evil looked really disappointed because he was the one who got the pin.
Are they breaking? Yeah, I did notice that.
So I don't know, and that's the thing. Okay, so between that, Naito getting booed out of the building, I don't know what's happening with LIJ all of a sudden. But the thing is, though, okay, so here's the thing with LIJ. They've never really been the most cohesive of unit. It's always, to me, been more of a group of like-minded people more than an actual team.
Right.
So if they break up LIJ, it'll come at a surprise to very few people because people have kind of been calling that for years. One reason why is because I think last year at the G1, Naito, or was it last year or the year before last? I can't remember which one. Naito and Sonata were in the same block and wrestled just like 30 minutes or something like that. Naito ended up winning, but like that. But Sonata has been proving himself more and more to be a title contender. Like even just last month, he almost beat Okada for the belt because that was when after that Jericho made his challenge. So the odds on favorites right now that everyone's wanting for the G1, especially now the title changes have happened, are either like Sonata or Kota Ibushi, and I think that'll more depend on what block they're in. If they're in the same block, then it'll be definitely one of those two. If they're in 2 different blocks, the finals is going to come down to 2 of them. I'm pretty sure. Now,
based on that though, we're thinking that with the Sonata and the whole thing, do you think you could see Sonata making a run at Naito's IC title? Something that could spark the breakup of LIJ.
He could. Either him or Evil. Honestly, okay. I don't see Ibushi, Hiromu when he comes back, or Shingo really challenging Naito, even though, because like for one, Bushi and Hiromu are junior heavyweights. Shingo's moving into the heavyweight division, but I think he's pretty recent, so I don't think he's really got any real reason to go against LIJ yet. Evil and Sonata are probably ready to break out.
Okay.
Like I've had this theory for like the past couple of months that Evil might end up forming his own group with a lot of the young lions that are coming out. Like, okay, so here's almost my thing with the young lions. When we see them, of course, with their basic 4 moves of drop kicks, Boston crabs, and German suplexes, which I'm convinced is all they're allowed to do. They're like backstage, you cannot do anything. Oh, and a fisherman suplex, I forgot number 4. That's number 4. You cannot do anything with those 4 moves.
4 moves of doom.
If you do one more move, you're fired, or worse. We're sending you, or worse. We're sending you to WWE. No, I'm kidding. Wow. I'm kidding. But anyway,
but true.
But true. But so, if anything, Evil could bring out his own stable for us. Now, if Sonata leaves, he's just going to be on his own. Like he won't be part of the main New Japan army. He won't be part of Taguchi Japan. He'll just be on his own because that's just how he is. Unless he swerves me and then gets his own group, which I'll be shocked.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, all this right now is just like all roads are just leading to the G1. I think that's going to determine what everything that'll happen because after the G1 concludes, it's always like just this march towards Wrestle Kingdom. Mm-hmm. And if nothing happens by G1, I'll say by Wrestle Kingdom, you'll see either LIJ either bring in new people and the old ones leaving, or they'll just go full on heel. Like instead of the tweeners they've been for a while, they'll just go full on heel and just like not care anymore.
I might actually stay up to watch the G1 because I think it's on a weekend this year. So
yeah,
or G1 Wrestle Kingdom. So when it comes up. So all right, that's our recap of Dominion and Osaka Joe Hall. Great show as always. One streak that they did break, they did mention on the commentary, at least on the English side, that the first time in 5 years that the tag titles did not change hands at Dominion. So
yeah.
Just on a side note.
Oh wow, cool. Yeah. I'm telling you, they're gonna come back from 3-1.
Yeah, but Katie's on crutches.
Yeah, I know. I'm still. Not that I'm watching basketball. The Spurs are out.
What?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't care. By the way,
I'm not really
Tony
either.
Parker. Thank you.
Yes.
By the way, as Spurs fans, we love you. It's
get released, come back and sign your 1 day and retire.
he did decline his option, so he's going to come sign the one.
Okay,
yeah,
next.
he'll probably come sign the 1 day. He already declined his option.
Excellent.
Okay,
I'll throw a Spurs tangent there. Now, one thing I wanted to get out to before we move on.
Spurs podcast.
No, there's been a couple of incidents recently that kind of toe the line between fan and wrestler.
I said I was sorry. Oh, not me.
Not you. I said
But
recently.
we could go down that road.
We could go down that road, but we could talk about all your incidents for the last
ROH,
10 years.
HCW,
Yeah,
RCW.
who was it at ROH in San Antonio?
Me and Bobby Fish.
Bobby Fish.
Yeah.
There's a great picture of it on the KBB website or Facebook somewhere.
Yeah,
You can go to the
I have it. So he signed it.
He signed
I printed it out and I had him autograph it.
Nice.
What promotion up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area were you actually attacked on a video or something?
Oh no, that was in Lufkin. I was in Lufkin, Texas. I can't remember the name of the promotion anymore. So I was being interviewed, and Johnny Axel decided to super kick me while I was talking to an interviewee.
I remember that.
And then Court Caution and was it Chris Preston? I think it's Chris Preston. And they decided to beat me up, and I forget who else hit me. Yeah,
He's a fan.
yeah.
I think I remember that.
And then I forget his name too. He slapped me in the chest as he was walking off. So yeah,
that like Sign Guy's Corner or something.
Wait,
that was like Guy's Corner.
Yeah.
I think I still have the video. But yeah, so I should send him. I'll send him the link to see if he can post.
If you put it up, I'll post it.
Okay.
Just if you want to see Tommy get super kicked.
It's so great.
Wait,
That's why
actually,
it's gonna love this.
I know I started this, but why are we putting this all on Tommy? You've had your share of wrestler interaction.
I've had my share, but he's had more.
Right.
True.
But he didn't have a cake thrown on him.
I was just about to bring that up.
Mike knew this. I don't know if you knew this, Tommy. Star and I planned that.
You did. I knew it. I knew it for years.
Kayfabe, bro.
I knew it for years.
It's
I
been
knew it.
years.
I knew it for years.
It's been years.
But you never would tell me.
God,
you never.
bro.
I told very select few people.
You never told me if that was planned or not.
She's up in Chicago somewhere now.
Kayfabe, bro.
Hey, it's
I
whatever.
knew it. I knew he planned that. I knew it. I knew
Hey,
it.
it got her over.
It did. I knew you planned that. I was so convinced. So because you swore up and down that you didn't, and I thought
Yeah,
you
I had
was
everybody
like, I knew
fooled.
you planned that. I knew that.
I mean, it was fun. Yeah. That's about a cheap cake.
you're right.
I made sure it was a cake I liked.
I think I'm going to sleep better at night now, knowing that I was right that you planned that.
I not to get off on a tangent, but
Yeah.
Miss Dyslexia that night. We got her a few shots and they had a match.
God, she
Yeah.
damn near killed Star.
Yeah,
3
she
shots
did.
of liquid cocaine. She was done. All right. That was her favorite shot. Anyway, what I'm talking mostly about, though, there was some publicity. This
But
stuff
not
came
good
out-
ones like
Not
this.
good ones. These are not good.
Yeah,
well,
these are not good.
Here's the thing I'm going to say on these stories. There's 3 sides to every story. There's the one side of the fan, one side of the wrestler, and then the truth. Somewhere in the middle there. Ring of Honor specifically, there was an incident where a guy that was sitting front row at a show for Ring of Honor TV taping, and the Allure came out. There was some jawing back and forth. The Allure, of course, are the big new Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, and I forget who's on that team now.
Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, and Mandy Leon.
Drawing heat, whatever, doing their thing. And they were kind of jawing with this guy. He's claiming they were jawing with him. He was throwing stuff back at him. They were saying stuff like, well, you're, a virgin or whatever. It seems like heels like to throw that stuff at guys, right? And he's slammed back, well, I'm not the one banging Bully Ray or whatever. They threw that out. All of a sudden, this guy gets a tap on the shoulder, say, hey, we need you to come back here. Security is thinking about some incident that happened because apparently Angelina Love spit on him. He claims he didn't really care. And he goes to the back, and then here comes Bully Ray. Security leaves, and he says he feels intimidated. It's like, Bully Ray's like, you stop being disrespectful. Go and just be a fan. He's like, whatever. I'm not trying to escalate it. Yeah, sure, whatever. And then he goes back, and then, of course, Bully Ray's responded. He's like, no, you're being mean. Velvet Sky said you're being an ass and this and that, And it's towing the lines. Like, who's right? I don't know. I'm not taking sides on it. I get it. But where's the line drawn?
I'm going to say this. It should never be up to the wrestlers. Unless a fan jumps the barricade into the ring, you just kick him out. Whatever he said, you don't, whatever built Bully thinking, he's going to, because, I saw the response. He's like, I acted like a man, and it doesn't matter. That's not something you do as a wrestling company, as wrestlers.
You don't pull a fan back there.
Right, and unless they jump the rail, then they're free game.
Yeah.
But to just pull them back and then have a talking to him, I whatever he said, if he said some really bad things to them, you kick him out, don't let him come back.
Yeah.
But the way that's
even that has a limit, of course. I would say that.
But here's my other thing: if it wasn't Velvet Sky involved, do you think her boyfriend, fiance, or whatever would have pulled this fan back?
Well, that's another point. That's why I think it makes Bully Ray look bad.
Yeah.
Even if he talked to him like a man, I don't think as a wrestler you should be doing that.
And Bully, I get it. You said in your post that you don't feel like I wasn't intimidating or trying to scare him. You're how tall? You're a big dude. I met you once before Victory Road in Houston, and just I was marking out a bit and just trying to ask for your autograph. I'm a little intimidated because I'm a fan. You're just this big guy. I'm 6'2", but you're still huge, whatever.
Yeah.
Just having that imposing. You're that authority figure, and I'm not saying this guy might have been disrespectful. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know the whole story. His side, your wife's side. I don't know what the truth is. Unless somebody's got a recording of the whole thing. Yeah. I'm sure they're going to blur some of it out on TV. Another incident that has come up, and there's some video of this, is at Impact Wrestling. I don't know if this was a live event or a TV taping, where Taya Valkyrie is jawing back and forth with a guy who's sitting there in the front row. Let's face it, dude's probably drunk. He's got a beer in his hand. He's saying this like that. He throws some sexist remarks at her, whatever, calls her slut, whatever like that. And she hits his beer out of his hand and walks away, and he rears back and spits on her.
That's the line.
That's the line. Do you think? Well, who crossed the line there? He spit on her.
He spit on her. Okay. Because a drink getting smacked out of your hand, that's happened to tons of fans. It happens, and because I've had fans, Chris Marvel, wrestlers rip my sign out of my hand and tear it up in front of me. Again, Chris Marvel. So whatever.
Yeah.
He didn't take my belt and shove me, Andy Dalton. I have a list of these. Anyway,
super kick you in an interview.
Look, we don't have another 2 hours to go through your list of
Johnny Axel. Anyway, but no, it's okay. If you're, first of all, a cup getting smacked out of your hand, it feels like if it's a plastic cup and at a wrestling show you get smacked out of your hand. To me, that's a badge of honor. Because for one, I'm bragging about that for the rest of the day.
Depends on the price of the beer, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there's that.
Don't have your beer there if you're going to keep it out of sight.
Don't talk crap while holding your cup.
No, I'm not justifying anything he did afterwards.
Have fun with it. I can remember myself and the Mafia guys going to an SCW show, and Mad Dog Ken Johnson had this thing where he liked to spit in the crowd, and we knew it was happening. So we all brought raincoats and umbrellas, and when he was about to do it, we put the umbrellas up. You can have fun with that kind of stuff.
Paper champion.
Yeah. Good days. But first of all, actually spitting on someone that's actually be considered an actual assault nowadays. Because you never know what anybody has. But the thing is with that though, to me that's I don't know. I've never been a fan of spitting on anyone. Period.
No.
When wrestlers do it to each other, I know that's one of Naito's favorite things to piss people off. That's one thing. But you're a fan. I mean, saying one thing depending on how far you take it, I mean, you should let slide. That's why like the guy, the Belair fan, if he didn't say anything like really respectful, like calling them out their name and like that, then you let it go. When you as a fan spit on the wrestlers, that's
Yeah, I don't know how the incident started. Like I said, the video started when they were already drawing with each other. I don't know if he said something to her that made her come over and get in his face. I don't know if she just came to get in his face just to draw heat, and then she said something and that escalated to him saying some sexist remarks to him. I don't know the whole story. But, I'm just wondering, like, we're saying what's the line there. There's interaction between fans and wrestlers. We've seen it. There's some funny ones out there. Guy making his entrance all debonair. There's no railing between his entrance, and then some woman comes up all drunk trying to jaw in his face. She goes back to her seat about to sit down. He pulls the chair out from under her, keeps walking, and she falls down. It's great. I think it's
Chuck Taylor's had some great ones.
Yes,
especially with little kids.
Yes,
yeah. Chuck Taylor has a fantastic one.
I'm not taking my kids to a Chuck Taylor show.
Absolutely not. Never.
But you want to enjoy the show. We're taking our daughter to go see SmackDown. We bought tickets. It's going to be her first WWE show, and I haven't told her yet, but I'm sure she's going to be pretty excited. So she'll be decked out in Bailey gear.
She's technically been to a Ring of Honor show before.
She has, at 6 months old, and got her first kiss from Tommaso Ciampa on his way out of the ring. So
the greatest ever. Nice.
Yes. So it's one of those things like whatever your interaction. Here's my thought on it is yes, you buy a ticket. Yes, you can cheer, boo for whoever you want. You don't have to cheer for the faces. You don't have to boo the heels. You do it for however you want. If you're gonna throw some insults like there, at least or jaw a little bit. At least be intelligent with it. Don't be like
you're talking about wrestling. Oh,
yeah, we're talking about wrestling fans, but I mean, don't try and like steal the show. Enjoy the show.
Okay, in all fairness,
yes,
all three of the people sitting at this table right now have tried to take over shows with cheers and signs and other things.
Only
Joe
with
Reinickle.
Okay, Reinickle deserved it. First of all,
I'm just saying.
To varying levels of success.
If you are a heel on an independent show, and you're a celebrity, and Reinickle knows this, and you have some stuff on you, and you come back as a heel, oh boy, the good fans will dig up stuff that's fair game. Of course, what I'm talking about is, Reinickle taking over RCW, and Brandon has asked me to go and bring a sign, by the way. But
I believe it.
He wants, you show up, make sure you bring signs, because Reinickle showed up, cut a promo on TV. This is years ago, and cut a promo on TV about he's bringing class to RCW, River City Wrestling. And I was like, this is the guy that got in front of a court judge for a DWI not too long ago.
And he brought a sign.
I brought a sign. First of all, I looked for the mugshot, couldn't find it. But I did find a picture of him standing in front of a judge in handcuffs and put this your definition of class. And I've had so many wrestlers, Andy Dalton included, tell me that is the biggest pop for a sign they've ever heard in their life.
That was amazing.
Yes.
That was amazing.
The problem was they sat Reinickle's family right next to me.
I remember that now. I forgot about that part.
Woo! And I was like, you know what? Woo! I got to do it because I'd already shown the sign to some wrestlers before the show.
It was worth it. You sometimes you just got to just take the bad with the good.
Oh, it was great. I think Reinickle autographed the sign afterward too, but still, it was funny.
There's no way. I mean, things like that you have to kind of steer into that curve. Like, yep, that happened. Oh well.
Wrestling is fun. Just don't get to a point where there's like fisticuffs between fans and wrestlers. Unless it's planned. That sort of thing.
Not a personal cut? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Don't try and jump over the top rope, too, if you're not.
Okay, first of all, we are never going to not talk about this, are we? And there's no video footage of it.
Or apparently,
I'll ask Brandon.
Jump off the ring, huh, Kelly?
Oh, yeah, poor guy.
Yeah,
don't show about when you do that, Brickany.
All right.
Anyway, on to Celebrity Fan Fest, which is this weekend in the San Antonio area.
God, that was so fast.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it came up quick. It's a packed weekend. It's taking place at the Freeman Coliseum and the Expo Hall, the whole grounds. There's so much going on. We found out we're going to be in a booth in your Artist Alley, actually standing in the booth right next to Robert Wool, who we just found out is going to have Malik Rose at his booth.
Yeah, nice.
What?
Pretty excited about that. Yes.
Nice.
How awesome is that? Jason Momoa, Amber Heard, Dolph Lundgren, Jeremy Renner, Sam, Anthony Mackie, who plays Sam, the Avengers.
On your left.
On your left. There we go.
Oh, still get goosebumps.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Cars as stars, a lot of like famous cars. The Ecto one's going to be there in Ernie Hudson.
I was just going to say
yes.
Yes.
Just announced today. How awesome is that? So we got a booth for the weekend. Joining us on Friday is going to be Hernandez. He's going to be at our booth, taking pictures, signing autographs. And before the show starts, we're going to be doing a live interview with him from our booth there at Celebrity Fan Fest as well. So looking forward to it. I'm glad he had some time free. I'm going to ask him about his career and what his plans are, because him and Homicide are making some rounds as a tag team again, going everywhere. They actually just came back from Hawaii.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And Homicide kind of teased that they're making their way through Texas pretty soon.
Are they using LAX or?
I don't know if they're using
I
LAX.
think they might just be, because I did see some stuff with them. I didn't know they were in Hawaii, but I just thought I think they're just using like Homicide. Yeah, because the new school has LAX and.
I mean, they could still call themselves the OGs because they did go by that.
They probably
if they wanted to.
Forgot about that.
But yeah, just about his career and what the other projects he's gotten involved in. He's actually finally moved to San Antonio after years living in Houston, and he's like, why didn't I move here earlier? He moved 2 years ago. It's like, it's so much.
This dude waits till his career, he's like by almost retired. Then it's like, you know what? It's a good place to move. The place I'm always wrestling.
So yeah, just to get his thoughts. If you have any questions you want to ask Hernandez, definitely send them in. Comment here. Tweet them at us.
Who was your favorite border toss?
which is the favorite one. If he says Gail Kim, we know why.
Who did was it Spectre? He border tossed while he was in a garbage bag or something like that, and like Spectre said, I didn't know where the ground was. I was just praying the entire time.
Possibly. There's some nasty ones I can remember.
Kaika is the one.
Kaika was the one out of the ring through a table.
Oh, I remember that now.
There was the Rory Fox one at CWF where Rory, you're not supposed to kick your feet up. It looked like Rory landed on his neck, but he was okay, thankfully.
I remember that.
Yeah,
this is tights didn't bust.
Oh, I knew that was coming. Yeah. So, and then that they told us we have the booth there. I don't know what Bob is going to surprise us with. We may have more interviews with other celebrities they can get over the weekend. Of course, on Friday, Becky Lynch, Finn Balor, and Daniel Bryan would be there doing photo ops. So get your photo ops if you can.
The man, the abs, and
the dragon.
The planet's champion.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun weekend. Come and check us out. We'll have some giveaways. We'll have, I think we got a few things lined up. I think we have some like game time from Play Live Nation. I don't know. We're going to make those announcements soon. So come check us out. Get some bookmarks. I'm going to have to print some more bookmarks for my giveaway. Not Avenger style. I'm trying to think of other ones. So
nice.
Yep. Now that leads into our 1 minute warning. If you guys have anything this week, I don't know if y'all do.
Huh? I do. Yeah.
You do?
You go ahead.
Yeah, because you weren't here last week, so I don't know if you got more to say. So, you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
Get Shane McMahon off my TV screen.
I know where this is going. Shane's getting the Stephanie
treatment. Look, I mean, in a sense, but he should not be your biggest heel. I don't understand this. Like, we talked about this earlier in all seriousness. Did Miz really get anything out of feuding with Shane?
Not a thing.
Shane got a few cheap wins, and the Miz is just kind of back to whatever. And now I know with the Roman thing, he's getting help, and McIntyre's there, and now the revival. Drew needs to be the big heel, not Shane. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know why this... Is he 50 now? Something is, like, indestructible. Taking moves, and then his punches are... It's just like, oh, it's frustrating. This is why people get frustrated. All that talent on the roster, and Shane McMahon is your biggest heel. I don't get it. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm even going to end early on that one.
All right. To be fair, the guy survived a helicopter. That's why he's the best in the world. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I get it.
Apparently his dad booked the helicopter flight. So.
They had a crash pad underneath. All right.
Oh, I believe that.
All right. Tommy, you got anything?
Yeah, I'll take a few.
All right, here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So we already talked about it, but like, so they mentioned like the lack of Joshis in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Mm-hmm. That being said, Stardom actually did point that out, but they said instead of trying to campaign for them to do that, just watch the women's wrestling that's available. I mean, because like in their defense, yeah, a lot of the other promotions don't have like a web deal, but then again, a lot of the other Japan promotions don't either. Noah doesn't have one yet. All Japan doesn't have one, and a lot of the women's promotions don't have one. But Stardom does. Stardom and New Japan both have their own web ways to watch their shows, watch past shows, watch current shows. They have their ways to do it. So yeah, I get it when people say, oh, there's no, women's wrestling in Japan, so blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but there's women's wrestling in Japan you can watch. you just you know it, and it's I don't think it's as much. I don't think it's the $49.99 yen, but you can still watch it, and even if it is that much, it's still great content. And trust me, those matches are sometimes more brutal than the men's, and it's definitely worth checking out for sure.
All right.
And those women's matches are in the old Japan, right?
Just see, look, you're so bad.
Bad joke.
You're so bad. You're so bad. You're so bad. Get out of this
Good
man's
stuff.
house.
hokey teacher joke there, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say it because there's stuff I've already said, but
I think that was just what I could think of like real quick, and that was even then I was like,
I'll
1 minute warning: Alexa or Gail Kim. No, I'm just kidding.
oh, I would love for you to actually choose one day.
Gail Kim. There.
Oh wow!
I knew what it was going to be.
Yeah, you knew it was gonna be Gail. That is a dream match of mine. But anyway, I'm just gonna rehash some things I've already said. People appreciate what you have, because let's face it, this Saudi crowd did, and they appreciated the fact that they got wrestling there. We need to remember we're lucky to have that. We're spoiled a bit by what we have.
Yep.
AEW is going to be based out of the United States as well, but be spoiled because one day you never know, things could be gone. We may not get people coming around, as much. For people that were big fans of WCW or ECW, they know what I'm talking about, and I think that's why they appreciate the things that they have. Another thing I will say, women wrestling in the Middle East, it has to happen one day and hopefully soon. It's great for everybody. It's great for equality. Everyone that's going to make a big deal about this controversy about WWE wrestling there, I don't remember a whole lot of controversy about people wrestling in North Korea years ago. In fact, people speak fondly of it. Yep. So history will judge it when it's all said and done. So.
I mean, I know it's a different country altogether, but I mean, points to the great Khali, to the promotion he has in India. They feature everybody, and
that's true.
I mean, and they have Katie Forbes. It's Katie Forbes. We're showboating.
Khali's a god there still.
Yeah, he is. That's true.
All right, so that just about does it for our show this week.
Yep.
Our Twitter account at CCG_WrestleCast. Subscribe to the Countdown City Geeks YouTube channel. Check out the Countdown City Geekcast on Facebook. We will probably be broadcasting our interview with Hernandez there live on that channel and or YouTube if we can figure out the technology, to be honest with you. Again, see us at Celebrity Fan Fest. We'll be there Friday through Sunday. I know I'm going to be there at least Friday and Saturday. Mike, we'll still working that out.
TBD.
Yeah. To be determined, exactly. Next week, we'll be back here for our weekly show to preview WWE Stomping Grounds.
The name.
I know. Hopefully it's a good show. They have some decent cards
Balls of Fire all over again. With this,
no,
come
on.
Okay.
It's not that great of a name.
Nailed it.
So until next week and or this weekend, if you're going to come join us at Celebrity Fan Fest, over here we got Tommy.
Thanks, guys.
This is Mike.
Thanks.
And I'm JC. And as always, remember, pro wrestling is real.
People are fake.
Wait, do we hit record?
We hit record. You going to go check?
Yeah.
So if you want to subscribe to the channel, click right here.
And if you want to watch more WrestleCast videos, I got 3 words for you. Click right here.